Being an artist was never part of the plan. It just kind of happened organically. But here we are 20 years later, and it's a huge part of my life. It's something I do every day. Kind of what got me into it was we would go skating every day, and then it would get dark and it'd be too dark to keep skating, but we still had all this energy. So we would go out to the trains and we'd start painting on the trains. And that was really just more about like that same rebellious spirit that we had as skaters, and taking that same kind of energy and just kind of bending the rules and treating your city in a different way than most people do. At that time I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have a lot of influences. It was really just me and some derelict friends running around and doing bad kid stuff. I started seeing things in my head that I could imagine that were much more complicated than the things that I could actually physically paint. But I felt like if I could imagine them, with practice I could learn the techniques that would accomplish the types of things that I could imagine. So at that point I decided that it was worth investing, the next 10 years of my life into putting all the energy I could into developing those techniques to be as good as what I imagined I could be. So working with the collective and trading ideas and processes got me into photo transfers, and that was something that was really interesting to me because I'd always been into photography. I really like the amount of information and detail that you can get from a photograph, the mood that a photograph creates. And me not being a particularly talented photorealistic painter, that really spoke to me as a way to get accurate information and a different way to present photographs. And so I started experimenting with painting underlayers and transferring on top of that, so you get an interference of what looks like a painting but also looks like a photograph. There's a blurred line between the two mediums, and it's kind of interesting to watch people figure out, is it a painting, is it a photo, how is that achieved? And as I started exploring these bigger cities, I started seeing a lot of posters, a lot of street advertisements. And with a graphic design background, those always caught my eye. So I just decided to start collecting as much as I could and to bring them back into the studio and start piecing them together in my own way, to make my own compositions and my own stories. The new series is based off all of that, is based off going out, traveling, ripping posters off the streets, bringing them back into the studio, rearranging them into fresh new compositions that are based on movement, color, typography, and just presenting them to the audience in a fresh new way. So what might have started out as a Nike ad with a girl running, with layers coming through, you see some typography that's not related to the ad, you see some white paper that's peeled, you just get a whole different feeling and a whole different mood than what was initially aimed by the advertisement.